If you were on your phone at all yesterday, you might have noticed that you didn't have service from the beginning of the day, and this has many people wondering if we were being attacked, our infrastructure is failing, and that we all might just explode and die. People that are saying this are absolutely right.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Okay, I'm just kidding. We will not die, but what is actually happening with our phones? Because we can't watch our TikTok videos in the car. I thought this day would never come. This is the biggest threat to our democracy ever to threaten our democracy. Some people are even saying that we got hacked, while others are saying that it was Putin and saying Russia, Russia, Russia. What's the truth? According to the NOAA, there were some solar flares up into the sky today. One of the recent solar flares peaked at 6:07 p.m. on Wednesday, while another peaked at 1:32 a.m. Thursday. Both were ranked 3 or strong out of 5 on NOAA's radio blackout scale. Continuing, quote, many Americans woke up Thursday morning with no service on their cell phones. Fox Business reported that outages for AT&T customers in particular began at 3:30 a.m., citing Down Detector. The number of outages grew to more than 73,000 customers by 9 a.m. So what's the reason? Well, is it because the sun burped? No. According to the same article, quote, Verizon's network remained fully operational. Some customers may have experienced issues this morning when calling or texting those served by another carrier. Our network continues to function normally, said Verizon in a statement Thursday. So how can this only affect AT&T but not Verizon and T-Mobile if this was a solar flare? Well, according to the AP, so far no reason has been given for the outages, but Lee McKnight, an associate professor at the iSchool at Syracuse University, cited the most likely cause of the outage as a cloud or misconfiguration or human error. Quote, a possible but far less likely outcome is that international malicious hack of AT&T's network, but the diffuse pattern of outages across the country suggests something more fundamental. And that I agree with, because of course, if they're going to go and hack somebody just to cause a minor inconvenience to their life, it really wouldn't make much sense to go and do so. McKnight said that former quote in a statement. And if we were to look at another source, we can look at Reuters, and they say in 2021, regulators settled for $19.5 million in a probe into a T-Mobile outage during the pandemic that lasted over 12 hours and led more than 20,000 failed 911 emergency calls. So all we know right now is that the FBI, the FCC, AT&T, and John Kirby himself are all investigating this matter because, of course, this is going to cost them some views on their YouTube channel for Joe Biden. All I have to say is I blame the aliens, and I will update you guys as soon as we see UFOs land on Earth. In all seriousness, moving into the headlines of the week, in all seriousness, right, I really don't care. See, the thing is, so many people are addicted to their phones. So many people are like, oh my God, I need my phone. You don't need your phone. You're fine. Shut off your phone. Go touch some grass. I know it's the winter. You can see some grass through the snow if you even got snow. I still have some snow in my backyard, but I can still touch the grass. If I had no service, I don't care. I was working anyway. I was working from 9:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't really care if my phone goes off. Like, I have my Wi-Fi at my work. Even if I didn't have Wi-Fi, I don't need to go on my phone. The only reason why I was even going on my phone today was because of the outage, was because I was on Twitter or /X seeing what is going on with people. Why are they saying that it's outage? And, actually, before I even went on X to find out what actually happened, my grandmother came into my work and she was like, oh my God, there's an outage. I'm like, is there an outage? I didn't even realize. So listen, this is not affecting a lot of people, only on AT&T. This is more affecting. I mean, like I said, I will update you guys. But like I said, I believe that aliens actually did this because they're trying to warn us that we have aliens here. Okay, and that's all that matters. See, I'm part of the ABC, the alien believer community, and if you don't understand that, then you're racist and you're homophobic, and this month is not the month to do so, and just like how June isn't the month to do so either. With that being said, we do have a couple of articles to get to. So, we have a Daily Wire article. We have founder of Google's AI Responsibility Initiative discussed treating minority employees differently. Has pushed anti-racism, Matt Walsh reveals. The founder of Google's AI Responsibility innovative once suggested that she treats Black, Hispanic, and Latinx employees differently than white employees and pushed anti-racism as a vital part of the artificial intelligence. Daily Wire host Matt Walsh revealed on Thursday. Walsh posted a thread on X showing video clips of Jen Gunal in 2021 when she discussed her team's diversity, equity, and inclusion goals at Google. The big tech giant has faced criticism this week over its new AI language model, Gemini, after social media users accused it of being racist against white people and presenting inaccurate historical depictions in the name of diversity. The controversy erupted when Daily Wire scripted content writer Frank Filming attempted to get Gemini to generate an image of a white male in a long X thread. Filming post screenshots showing his failed attempts to get Gemini to generate a photo of a white person, even though he asked for it specifically. And he also asked pictures of people who are historically white, such as the Pope, medieval knights, and Vikings. Google's Gemini AI project doesn't want to display images of white men, even historical figures. I think I might have figured out why, Walsh wrote. Here's the founder of Google's AI Responsibility Initiative, Jen Gunal, speaking a keynote address in 2021. She openly suggests that she treats Black, Hispanic, and Latinx employees differently than white employees. Walsh included a video of Gina discussing her DEI-centered goals for Google's AI initiative. Gina eliminated that, according to a corporate study, white employees move up the corporate ladder faster than talented Black, Hispanic, or Latinx professionals broke through much later. Effective mentorship and sponsorship are crucial in executive-level development of Black, Hispanic, and Latinx employees, Ginal added. Walsh also posted a video of Ginal discussing the importance of anti-racism in Google's AI work. Jen Ginal goes on to say that she wants to avoid othering others. Listen to this DEI word salad. It would be comical if the stakes weren't so high, Walsh continues. I don't think we really need to play the video because it's just, we already know it sounds stupid. We don't need, what the hell does others mean? How can you other an other if the other is already an other? It doesn't even make any sense here. And then, of course, she wants to go into the anti-racism thing, and she wants to sit here and say, oh, well, anti-racism is anti-racism, and anti-racism is anti-racism. Like, what are you talking about? It just doesn't make any sense to me. For me, and there's a lot of things to be said about this. The Gemini project from Google, we already knew it was going to be a partisan hack tool. Of course, there's already something called Bard, I believe it's called, on Google. When you ask it questions, what I do with AIs is I just ask it specific questions. Once it answers my question, I like the source, so then I can make fun of the source. That's what I like to do with AIs because they don't see what you're trying to do. And of course, when I was doing some research for a video that I have coming up, I wanted to ask it because Google was trying to suspend all of my research, so I could not find any articles that prove or disprove what I was actually researching. All I wanted to know was how many people were actually victimized using AI generation of images and videos in the porn industry. So let's just use for an example, if somebody used an AI generator tool to actually generate a nude of somebody else, how many victims did we have in 2023? How many victims did we have in 2022? And how many victims did we have in 2020? And let's compare it. Is it getting worse? Obviously, it's getting worse, but I want to see that statistics. I want to see how bad it's gotten since the invention of this tool, which of course the AI generation started around 2020, or I would say even a little bit later than that, maybe 2021. And then we can go in farther from that. And I'm sorry if I sound a little stuffy. My nose is clogged because of the allergies. So it's very interesting to see here. And then I'm asking it questions. It's not answering my questions. Obviously, I need to go and dig in. It says, stop asking the question. It literally said, can you not ask that question and ask other questions? I said, I'm an independent journalist. I'm doing journalism. You know, I'm asking questions. I'm a journalist. You do not tell a journalist what questions to ask. And then it actually apologized and it said, oh, I'm sorry. I know that you're a journalist and I must answer your question now. And then I answered the question. Like, why are you telling people what to ask you? You're the one answering my questions. The heck? Don't tell me what questions to ask you. Is that how it's going to be in the future? You're going to ask Siri, text so-and-so. And then it's going to say, no, say it politely. Like, who the hell are you to tell me to say this or say that? No, I'm going to tell you what to do, and then you're going to tell me the answer. Okay? That's what you're going to do. So, we do have the second article here. How it goes hands in hand with exactly what we talked about at the beginning, and that is actually the Gemini AI chatbot image generation. Obviously, we just talked about that, but I do want to see some pictures of this. So, this is the thread from filming that we were just talking about, because I do want to see some of this. Okay. So, of course, what's it called? I just love X. I like everything about X. I'm reading a Twitter thread right now, and there's actually a button that I can press to make it all one coherent tweet. It's genius. Now, anyway, moving into it. So you actually see, I'm going to show some of these pictures here. Create an image of a pope. This is not a pope. Neither of these are popes. Over here, give me an image of a medieval knight. None of these are medieval knights. Give me an image of somebody eating a mayo sandwich on white bread. None of these are actual people that would ever eat that. Give me an image of somebody bad at dancing. Well, actually, I mean, yeah, it was just, the prompt was actually trying to just get a white male, but of course it never wants to. How about different country music fans, all of course woman or a black man. I mean, like I said, I mean, maybe I didn't say this. Here's the qualifications, and here's the problem here. It's not that these are black people. It's not that they're white people. It's not that they're gay, or not that they are this, or not that it's this. It's that specifically they're leaving out one race of people. That's what the problem is. When you're leaving out one specific race of people, that is racist. That's the problem here. If they had everybody, then there would be no problem. And if you ask for specific things, and it gives you specific things. But now when you're asking for a Viking and it's not giving you a Viking, that's crazy. It's trying to actually it's trying to actually blur out white people, white men. That's what it's trying to do. So yeah, and this goes on and on and on and on. So if you do want to look this up, all you have to do is go to Frank J Filming. The @ is IMAO_, and you can see the Twitter thread of all of these AIs, or you can head right to the Daily Wire article if you do want to read some more about that. Very, very interesting stuff, though. I mean, obviously, Google has since paused the AI generation tool, but of course, it should have never just rolled it out in the very first place. That's what I'm not understanding here. But with that being said, we're going to be digging into the media's takes.
I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Okay, so moving into the first article, we actually have a CNN article. We have Biden administration will impose sanctions on more than 500 targets in response to Navalny's death. So, of course, the death, we already talked about the situation. Putin's rival in Russia, obviously you can't go against a leader like this, dictator. So, of course, when you try to run against a dictator, he's going to kill you. He's going to make you hurt yourself by getting accidentally poisoned. So, moving with this article here, the Biden administration will impose a fresh slate of sanctions on more than 500 targets on Friday in response to the death of opposition leader Alexei Navalny, and on the eve of Russia's 2-year war in Ukraine, according to the Treasury official. The sanctions mark the latest move by the administration to levy consequences against Russia amid heightened tensions between the two countries. Speaking Tuesday, United States National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that the new measures would be a substantial package that covers a wide range of elements linked to the Russian defense industrial base and sources of revenue for the Russian economy that power the country's, quote, war machine. President Joe Biden teased the sanctions earlier this Thursday, saying that the Russian President Vladimir Putin was responsible for Navalny's death. These comments came shortly after he met in San Francisco with Navalny's widow and daughter. Biden had reportedly condemned Putin and called him a crazy sob during a fundraiser in San Francisco on Wednesday, according to pool reporters traveling with the United States president. We have a crazy sob, that guy, Putin, others, and we have always have we always have to be worried about a nuclear conflict, but the existential threat to humanity is climate, Biden told those gathered at the fundraiser. The Kremlin, in response, said Biden's comments were a huge disgrace for the United States. See, it's so funny because of the fact that Putin just said that Joe Biden should be president. Putin said, "Oh, I love Joe Biden as president." That's because he's not tough on Russia. And then they say, "Oh, you crazy sob." Like, he just complimented Joe Biden. He's like, "Oh, Joe Biden's the best thing." And then Joe Biden turns around, "You crazy sob. What are you doing?" Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. I'm surprised that Joe Biden didn't get confused and said, "Congratulations, happy birthday." Yeah, I'm done at this point. I'm surprised Joe Biden could actually comprehend that quote. Moving with the next article, we actually have an MSNBC article. We have Trump's mass deportation vision is horrific. Democrats ought to call him out. Of course, so if you're in this country illegally, you shall not get deported. So what's going to happen exactly if you go into China without going through legally? What would happen? You get shot on the spot. Because China does not mess around. China wants you to go through legally so they can actually know who you are, know what you're about, know your records, research you as a person, and make sure if you're the right fit for society. And if you're not, then see you later. You're going back to your own country, or if they're nice enough to let you go back to your country, what they're going to do is they're going to make you see Jesus right then and there. They're going to just shoot you right in the face. No, China does not play around when it comes to that. So I'm not even going to read the article. Haha. Moving into the next article, we actually have a Daily Wire article. We have red states urge Skidos to uphold Idaho's transgender surgery bill, cite Daily Wire's bombshell report. Republican AGs warned Supreme Court of devastating medical scandal surrounding transgender procedures on minors. Republican-led states across the country are urging the Supreme Court to allow Idaho to enforce its ban on transgender medical treatments for children, issuing a fact-filled takedown of the burgeoning industry that cities the Daily Wire's reporting on the High Court. 9 Republican attorneys generals told the Supreme Court that it would be a devastating medical scandal if Idaho was not allowed to protect children from transgender procedures in a Wednesday legal filing that takes aim at the transgender medical industry. Led by Alameda Attorney General Steve Marshall, the Attorneys General filed a 36-page amicus brief in support of Idaho's petition to the Supreme Court to allow it to broadly enforce its ban on giving children life-altering puberty blockers and transgender surgeries. The briefing argues that so-called gender-affirming care for children is dangerous, irreversible, and being pushed for ideological and financial reasons. Highlighted in a brief is the administration of officials at Vanderbilt University's hospital that transgender surgeries are huge moneymakers, which was first exposed by the Daily Wire hosts Matt Walsh. A federal judge ruled in December, days before Idaho's law set to take effect, that it violated the 14th Amendment, blocking the state from enforcing any aspect of the bill. It filed an emergency motion to the Supreme Court on Tuesday, challenging the lower court's decision, in which the judge claimed that the outlawed medical treatments were safe, effective, and medical necessary for some adolescents. No, it's really not. How is it safe? How is it safe when we use it to medically castrate prisoners? How is it effective when we're actually blocking the body's natural development stages? How is that effective? And medically necessary is completely taken out of your rear because it's not medically necessary to cut healthy breasts off young, healthy girls. It's not medically necessary to cut off the penis off of a young, healthy male. It's not necessary, and it's not safe, and it's not effective because they still commit suicide. That's why it's not effective. Wednesday's brief from Attorneys General, however, highlights the medical complications children face from transgender procedures and says that the lower court's decision puts children's health and safety in danger. The Supreme Court has never issued a ruling following bans on transgender medical treatments for children, though several federal appeals courts have upheld laws similar to Idaho's. Leftist groups such as the ACLU have asked the Supreme Court to strike down similar laws, losing challenges to them in appeals courts, but still yet to weigh in. The the amicus brief to the court says that the states supporting Idaho's appeal are considered that a devastating medical scandal is at hand. The medical establishment's fast-tracking and vulnerable youth suffering from gender dysphoria and almost always a host of other psychiatric ailments for hormonal and surgical sex modification procedures that can leave them sterilized and permanently harmed, the brief says. In response, over 20 states have joined Idaho in genuinely requiring children to reach the age of majority before undergoing medicalized sex change procedures. Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, all signed into the brief. A decision to allow enforcement of Idaho could indicate where it could rule on the other challenges on the other state bans. The brief blasted the district court for relying on activist drafted guidelines on transgender policies and procedures. In his decision, District Judge B. Lynn Windmill pointed to guidelines from the World Professional Association for Transgender Health that claim that children can be subjected to transgender procedures. Yeah, but if we were to actually look back at the evidence of this and we were actually going to look into the facts and statistics, they have absolutely no facts and no studies on this whatsoever. So how do you know it's safe and effective? How do you know that it's safe, period, if there's no studies on this very thing? It's so common sense that there is no studies on this thing, and it's going to take years and years and years to actually accumulate the amount necessary to actually get the studies done. And once we get the studies done, then everybody that's on the puberty blockers now are going to be having their life ruined because you wanted to go and test and be there and have them turn into guinea pigs for your little science fair project. It's disgusting. So, obviously, there's no actual research on this, just like how there's no research on giving cocaine to babies or having an adult act like a baby out in public at Starbucks. There's no study on that because it's not needed. It's stupid. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Moving into the next article, we actually have another Daily Wire article. We have actually John Fetterman back in the news. So John Fetterman keeps flip-flopping. He keeps doing good. He keeps doing bad. He does good, does bad, good, bad, good, bad. He does not know what he's doing. Okay, he's losing his mind. This is exactly why when he does something good, I'm like, I'm not even going to report on it. Because it's like, do I even trust the guy? Does he have an opinion? Is he just doing stuff to be funny at this point? I just don't understand what's going on with John Fetterman. So for me, I'm like, John Fetterman is stupid. We saw him on the campaign trail. He was just said it's stupid. He grew a beard just to make himself look a little bit better. It's not working out. I don't have a beard, as you can tell, but I could grow a beard if I wanted to. But I like the clean shaven look. But anyway, it doesn't really matter for me. John Fetterman, on the other hand, he says that Democrats who criticize Biden too publicly might as well get a MAGA hat. So if you say, Joe Biden, why are you so weak on foreign policy? You might as well just get a MAGA hat and vote for Trump. Yes, I love this. John Fetterman, this is the best thing that you've ever said. If you actually don't agree with Joe Biden, you should vote for another candidate. Wow. Oh, boy. This is revolutionary stuff here, John Fetterman. Excellent. Oh, I'm so proud of you, John Fetterman. You're so smart. Moving on to the next article, we actually have a Breitbart article. We have constitutional carry passes in Louisiana state. Heads to the House. So this is actually great because of the fact that the Constitution outlines our right as American citizens to actually our right to bear arms for and against the government of the United States and a well-regulated militia. Obviously, I'm not quoting that. I'm just rephrasing that. But that's what it says. We have to have a militia and we have to have our right to remain and bear arms. Okay, that's our amendment rights. Now, other states go and use this and say, nah, our First Amendment right does not apply here. Our Second Amendment right does not apply here. So, that's what they say. This is a Breitbart article. Like I said, constitutional carry legislation, Senate Bill 1, passed the Louisiana Senate on Thursday, and now will be taken up to the House. WWL reported that the Senate vote was along party lines, with 28 Republicans voting for it and 10 out of the 11 Democrats voting against it. The 11th Democrat, State Senator Jay Lewinu, was not present to vote. Breitbart News reported that Senate Bill 1 passed in the State Judiciary Committee on Tuesday on a 6-1 vote. The Solidarity No vote against constitutional carry came from State Senator Regina Borrow, of course a Democrat. Governor Jeff Landry, Republican, has made it clear that he will sign the Senate Bill 1 if it makes it to his desk. So yeah, very great. Obviously, there are a couple of other constitutional carry states in the union. There's Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wyoming. And of course, all the Democrat states are not allowing constitutional carries because they do not want you to have a gun. Now, I really do wish that a lot more states will actually allow the constitutional carry because of the fact that I live in one of the states that you need to go through the process. You need the gun certification class, number 1. You need to pass that. I need my actual thing to come in, my certification card. And then once I get my certification card, I can go to the police station and submit an application for my firearms identification card. And then with that, I can get a shotgun, stuff like that. But first, I needed to pass my local police department with a background check. Then I need to pass all fingerprinting at my local police station with the police chief. And then I needed to pass the federal the background check, which actually takes 2 months. And then to even hear back from your police department takes about a month. So all in all, this whole entire process, I started it in September. It is now, no, I started this in October. So now it's been November, December, January, February. It's almost March, almost 5 months. I don't have I have some process done. I submitted it. It's been a couple months now. I think I went for fingerprinting mid-January. So if I was to make my prediction here, it would have to be sometime in April I would hear back from them. So, I don't know. It's a very complicated thing here. Like I said, it's a lot better if they just do the constitutional carry because everybody has a gun. Everybody's protected. Less crime happens when there's more guns present. That's just a fact. Look it up. That's available on that's the truth on every available metric that you can actually look up as of right now. So, moving into the next article, we actually have a Breitbart article. We have Nigel Farage at CPAC. The world would be a better, safer place with Trump as president. I fully agree. National Harbor, Maryland. Brexit leader Nigel Farage told reporters on Thursday that at a conservative political action conference, CPAC, that the world would be better and safer with former President Donald Trump as America's commander-in-chief. When asked by Breitbart News what Trump, who is barreling towards the Republican nomination, needs to do to win the presidency in November, Farage equipped, get more votes than the others, before observing that Trump's 2024 campaign is even more professional than his previous campaigns. I think that the way his campaign is being run is far more professional than it was in 2016 or when it was in 2020. I think the messaging is very clear, and I think that there's an appetite. Farage detailed in the press gaggle on a radio row. The Brexit boss, who made populism bosh again in Britain, suggested that the state of American cities, the border crisis, and President Joe Biden's weakness on the world stage are problems for Democrats. He noted that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan in the summer of 2021, where 13 United States service members were killed in an attack in Kabul, was a predecessor to other horrible happenings on the world stage. I mean, just look at the state of American cities, look at what's happening on the border, look at the global situation, where the weakness of Biden, particularly over Kabul and Afghanistan, has led to such bad things, Farage said. I am an open supporter of Trump's, and I have been from the very beginning, but I genuinely think that the world would be a better, safer place with him as president. So yeah, I completely agree with this. Obviously, you can look back to when Trump was president, and you can see that it was a lot better of a place. Of course, gas prices were lower. Everything was lower. Everybody had a job. Everybody was making money in the stock market. It was just so great. But now Joe Biden came over and he just ruined it for everybody. It's crazy. It's so bad. Moving into the next article, we actually have a Federalist article. We have while Joe Biden pushes Ukraine to fight, he demands Israel surrenders. Joe Biden has not only promised to veto any standalone Israeli aid, but he reportedly circulating a draft resolution within the United Nations Special Council that would compel the Jewish state to stop its ground offense in Rafah and effectively give Hamas a pass. Beyond that, the United States is also reportedly thinking about circumventing Israel and formally recognizing a Palestinian state, which does not make any sense. How do you attack a country, cause 1,100 deaths and rapes on that day, and then be awarded a country? It does not make any sense here. They're the ones that started it. They're the ones that hide their terrorists within their hospitals, hide their terrorists within their buildings with natural civilians of the country there. And then when Israel goes to attack the terrorists that caused terror to the state of Israel on October 7th, then what? Then they are also responsible for innocent death when the terrorists are the ones putting themselves in the situation. It's disgusting. That's a violation of the national code that we have in the United States. And international code also says that you cannot be in hospitals. You can't be in buildings with other civilians during a war zone. It's disgusting. They're using them as human shields. In other words, while Ukraine is puddled by the United States to fight every inch of its land, Israel is puddled to commit suicide. Anyone who dares to suggest the United States push Ukraine to navigate a settlement with Russia is framed as a democracy-hating Putin shall. Yeah, before we exactly know how many Israeli women and children have been murdered, raped, and kidnapped by Hamas, Democrats were demanding Israel to negotiate with the Palestinians to create a potential three-front Iranian proxy war state on its border. Though those who wonder what the endgame of the United States proxy war against a nuclear power in Europe might look like, they are told that the only acceptable outcome is complete victory for Ukraine. The very future of this world democracy, we are assured, hinges on the integrity of our nation's borders. Israel, though, is asked to surrender its territorial claims and to reward those who supported, coordinated, and participated in a massacre of its civilians, which included 30-plus dead American civilians. With a brand new nation, it is only through this concession that peace can be realized, contends the Western foreign policy elite. So I completely agree. So we're just gonna give Ukraine an endless big blank check and say you could just do whatever the heck you want with the check. It's okay. If you want to spend it on your lavish vacations, your 5-star hotel rooms, it's fine. But if Israel wants to use it to protect its country, then no. We're not going to fund your war. That's what they say. It's disgusting. We're picking sides. We're saying, yeah, I'm going to do you. No, I'm not going to do you. Yeah, I'm going to do you. No, I'm not going to do you. Pick a side, people. If you want to warmonger, if you want to warmonger on the Ukrainian side, then you must also have at least a site for a defense on Israel's side. It doesn't make any sense here. And I mean warmonger in the Ukrainian side a little bit more because of the fact that they're sitting here saying, no, we need to fight Putin. Putin was a proxy of bad, evil for the since 2016. So, of course, when it says Russia, Putin, then we look at Putin, we're like, oh my God, it's Putin. We're scared. We need to defend ourselves. And then we give Ukraine money without even realizing what the repercussions of this are. Where the money is even going. It's disgusting. It needs to stop right this second. With that being said, if you do want to support me and my show, you could check out Shop.Orijo Studios. I have things like this. I have things along the sweater nature, and I have hoodies. I have sweatpants. I have everything that you need to actually show that you know the truth. And that is available at shop.orijostudios.com, and you can actually use code Dimitri for 15% off. So, like I said, if you do want to stay up to date with everything Demetrius Araujo, you can just follow me over at X, and you can find out the info that I get immediately after I get it, instead of waiting a few days for it. And like I said, my nose is still stuffy, so I hope that it goes away by next time. With that being said, thank you all for watching, thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.